Hey new shooters, welcome to the Tundra Nation. According to reports, a record number of you are looking at getting your first firearm, and there are many people out there getting a crash course in modern firearms law and how many different guns there actually are. To make your purchase go just a little bit more smooth, here are our top 6 tips on what to do before you head to the gun store to make your purchase. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, and let's start the show. First tip is to read up on your local firearm laws. These can vary wildly from state to state and sometimes even from city to city. So I'm just going to hit on some of the more common ones that you should at least be aware of. In most places, you're going to need to be at least 21 if you want to purchase a pistol or a gun with certain tactical type features, like an AR-15. In some states, it is possible to purchase an AR at a younger age, but it's rare. Even some shotguns will require you to be at least 21 if it has certain features on it. You might even need a permit to purchase the firearm of your choice. In my state, which is Minnesota, you must have either a permit to purchase a firearm issued from your local police department or sheriff's office, or a permit to carry in order to purchase many different types of firearms. In any case, I'm unaware of a state where you can legally purchase a firearm if you're under the age of 18. Sorry, Pyro. Since I can't cover all of the state's documentation requirements in one short video, do the new shooters of the Tundra Nation a solid and post your state's required documents down in the comments section below. If you find yourself overwhelmed with information or are just struggling to find a consistent source, feel free to join our Discord server and participate in the New Shooters Advice channel. We have a ton of members that are ready and waiting to help you guys out and answer as many questions as we possibly can. Understand that your state might have some form of waiting period. Even if your state doesn't have a mandatory waiting period, every gun sale that takes place at any type of gun store will require a background check with federal law enforcement. This is usually accomplished not always exclusively through the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, or NICS for short. While some states employ additional checks, NICS is required for every firearms purchase. There are 3 different possible results the NICS check will provide: a proceed, delay, or deny. We're going to focus mostly on the delay result here, as that tends to be the cause of most confusion at the time of purchase. A delay result can happen for any number of reasons, and it's going to require you to wait a couple of days before you can take your new gun home with you. Most shops around the country will transfer that firearm to you on the 3rd business day, and note I did say business day, after the original NICS check was submitted. This is called a no resolution transfer. However, it is down to the discretion of the individual gun shops, and unfortunately some will not transfer the firearm until they receive a response from NICS. This is also going to take place at the time of purchase, so you don't really need to do any real legwork beforehand, other than making sure that your address on your government issue ID, which the gun store employee will be checking by the way, matches the address that you put on the background check paperwork. And also it'd be a good idea to make sure that your IDs and documentation is not expired. While the check usually only takes a few minutes, it's not always instantaneous, and unfortunately the store employee has no way of hurrying the process up. If you're put on delay or flat out denied for any reason, that person helping you doesn't have access to any of the reasons why. Please be polite to the person behind the gun counter. He or she has no say as to whether or not you're going to get approved for your purchase, and is honestly a slave to the process that is legally required for every gun sale. Number 2 is to know what you're looking for. You don't need to know an exact model of what you want, but you should at least do your homework and have it narrowed down to a couple of different models, or at least a general type of firearm that you might want to compare and contrast. Feel free to ask some questions about the guns, but try not to ask specific things to the gun store employee like, what gun should I buy for home defense, or what gun should I buy for a concealed carry? Your situation, your lifestyle, and your experiences could provide a completely different result and add to a completely different tool for the job. You wouldn't want to go to a car dealer if you weren't sure about getting a minivan or some kind of sportsmobile. If you're completely uneducated in the differences between a Glock and a Sig Sauer, at least have a price range that you're comfortable working with and an idea of what you think you might want. A quick sidebar on budget. Please don't try to haggle with the gun shop employees. Guns are what are considered by many business majors to be a loss leader. This means that most places that sell guns make very little, if any, profit on the sale of a firearm. Their profit is made on all those other little things that you buy to go with your gun, such as ammo, holsters, sights, or range time. So unless you're at some pawn shop, the sticker price on the gun is probably what you're going to end up paying. Third is the allowance for the purchase of some ammunition into your initial budget. Without ammunition, your gun is just a pretty fancy, expensive paperweight. At least one box of ammunition is going to be required if you want to shoot your gun. And you should, definitely. You should also consider the fact that you might need some method of storage for your firearm. You may want to look at the cost of a safe or a gun locker, or at least a case to transport your gun from place to place. The majority of guns do come in cardboard boxes, but you're probably going to want something other than that when taking your gun to and from the range or field. If your gun is for concealed carry, please do yourself a favor and buy a quality holster to go with it. Our fourth tip is to familiarize yourself with some gun safety rules before you ever go to the gun store. Gun store employees do not like having guns pointed at them or anybody else in the store when they first put the gun into your hands. Most salespeople are going to confirm that the chamber is empty and clear of ammunition before giving it to you. But treating every gun as if it's loaded means that you just don't point it at people or things that you wouldn't mind destroying. Another tip out of common courtesy is if you're unfamiliar with something about the firearm, ask for help as opposed to just trying to mash, jam, or force the firearm to do what you think it should be doing. It's just polite to treat a gun that doesn't belong to you yet with a certain level of care. Our fifth tip is to be humble. If this is your first gun purchase, there's a good chance you've done your homework and consulted the interwebs, maybe a family member or a neighbor who might know more about firearms than you. Keep in mind that even if your advisor is a police officer or even a military vet, they might not know all there is to know about guns. Gun shop employees sell guns every single day. They also take in returns and repairs on guns every single day. They likely won't know everything there is to know about firearms either, but what they will know is at least what guns break easily or don't perform well. If they advise you against a particular model, it's probably for a good purpose. They probably have a pretty clear understanding of what guns are keeping their customers happy. To keep things objective, there is a small chance of finding that guy or the gun store elitist employee that thinks everybody should only have firearm X, and if you're even considering something else, you're crazy. This guy's a tool, pure and simple. Smile, nod, and then get the heck out of there and consult with somebody else. The important thing here is the more people that you ask, the more opinions you hear, the more info you are going to have to develop your own opinion. The sixth tip is if you're buying a gun online, understand that the firearm is not going to ship directly to your doorstep. Guns can only be shipped to and then transferred from federally licensed firearms dealers. Your gun will ship to the designated gun shop of your choice, where you will go to perform the required background check. You're most likely going to be expected to pay some kind of transfer fee for the shop to receive your gun and process the background check for you. You should also take this opportunity to inspect the firearm to make sure it wasn't damaged in transit. If you don't and decide to send it back after you've completed your next check, you're probably not going to get a refund on that transfer fee. Also, please don't call the gun shop every single hour after your purchase and ask if it's there yet. We're going to call you as soon as it gets there to get it into your hands. I promise. Well, that's our top 6 tips on things to do before you go to the store to buy your first gun. If you dislike this video, then your buddy probably told you to buy an XD. But if you like the video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button and share it around with your friends. Consider subscribing to our channel and checking out our Patreon page to stay up to date on current and future content. And if you feel like repping some of that sweet Tundra swag, follow the link in the description below to our store on Teespring. Thanks for watching, Tundra Nation, and you can now find us on Instagram at Tundra Tactical MN.